Welcome back, and today our topic is on the endoplasmic reticulum. So we'll be covering two different types of endoplasmic reticulum, and we'll be discovering what their functions are. And so first of all, let's try and understand what the endoplasmic reticulum actually is. So what it is that it's a series of connected membranes that are good at carrying things around the cell. And so let's start out by talking about the functions of the smooth ER. The smooth ER will be written over on the right side, whereas the other type, which is the rough ER, will be written on the left side. And so the smooth ER, also known as the SER, is smooth in appearance because it has no ribosomes. These ribosomes are free or not attached, so they're considered free ribosomes. Remember that a ribosome is not an organelle in the cell, but is a structure that is able to make proteins and polypeptides because it can decode the RNA of the cell. And so the smooth endoplasmic reticulum has many functions. For example, it is good at detoxification. For example, one thing that it's good at detoxing is alcohol. Another good function that it has is carb metabolization. And so carbs are a type of macromolecule for the human body. By macromolecule, I mean that they are a major molecule that is necessary for the body to use. And so carb, being short for carbohydrate, is a type of macromolecule that is used for fuel. By being able to do metabolization, the SER is able to allow carbohydrates to undergo chemical reactions. Thirdly, the smooth endoplasmic reticulum is able to do lipid synthesis, or the creation of lipids. Lipids are another major macromolecule for the human body, and they're a great way to have energy stored in the form of fat. And so lipids is another way of saying fat. Finally, the fourth and final function that we'll be talking about today for the smooth endoplasmic reticulum is ion storage. And so ions that the smooth endoplasmic reticulum can store are, for instance, calcium. And so calcium isn't just stored in the smooth endoplasmic reticulum, but there's also a modified type of endoplasmic reticulum that is used for muscle cells specifically, called the sarcoplasmic reticulum. Its function is to store calcium in large quantities because muscle cells highly depend on calcium to be able to contract. Without calcium, no contraction and no movement will happen for the muscle. And so now that we've talked about one of the major types of endoplasmic reticulum, or the smooth ER, let's talk about the other one, which is highly similar, which is also called the rough ER. And so the rough ER, or RER for short, is rough because, as you can see in the picture, it has ribosomes attached to it. So ribosomes are apparent here when they aren't on the smooth. And so because these ribosomes are attached to something, we call these ribosomes bound ribosomes. And so for the rough ER, there is one main function that we'll be talking about, which is that the rough ER is good at packaging and synthesizing proteins. For example, glycoproteins. And so remember that we said that synthesizing means building or making. So this rough ER is good at making proteins. And packaging, by packaging we mean that it sends it somewhere else, maybe in the cell or in a different cell. And so we can say that the rough ER is good for protein regulation. And so what is a glycoprotein? A glycoprotein is a compound made out of two different macromolecules, one being a carbohydrate or glyco. And you can remember that because glucose is a type of carbohydrate. And so the other half of the compound is protein. And you should remember that proteins are another type of macromolecule. So together, carbohydrates and proteins, or at least a type of carbohydrate, which is glucose, plus proteins, can be made into a compound that is usable for the composition of membranes. So glycoproteins are used in making membranes, for example, the plasma membrane. And so don't forget to hit that subscribe button and to like and share for future videos and more content. And don't forget to leave a comment because I'd love to hear your opinions on what the future videos should be and what I could improve on general. Thanks!